So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a Brilliant Businesses podcast. My name is Nick Bryant, and I'm really pleased to be in the offices today of Tailor Made Dreams, which is a local charity that we all know and love very, very much. They have Titanium Circle members, and we're lucky to have one with us today, who is Matt Sellens from Crown Wealth Consultants. Hello, Matt. How are you?
Hi. How are you? I'm good, thanks.
Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. I mean, a lot of people that will be seeing this know about Tailor Made Dreams, but just in case anyone out there don't know, they enable children with life-limiting illnesses to achieve their dreams, especially when time is so very precious to them. Now, Matt, before we get into talking about Matt Sellens and who you are and what you do, tell us why or what attracted you to Tailor Made Dreams and why you fundraise for them every month.
Yeah, no problem. So I was inextricably linked to Tailor Made Dreams due to circumstance. When my son was 18 months old, he had a brain tumour. And was in a very small room in King's College Hospital with Taylor.
Oh, okay, right. I didn't know. Right, okay, yeah.
So when Taylor was maybe 14, Reuben, my son, was in the same room.
Right.
So
you got to know him very well.
Not that. He played with Reuben a bit. And Reuben was fortunately, he was one of the lucky ones. And I say that because when you're in King's, that particular children's ward, which is for very acute cases, you come to realise very quickly that there's probably more unlucky ones than lucky ones there.
Yeah, right.
But his brain tumour was benign and it was removed, and he's now nearly 18.
Yeah, right.
So we're a long way down that journey, but. So for a long time, I've had an association with Susie and the charity, and in fact, when Susie started the charity and needed more space, we gave Susie a sort of first office.
Oh, did you?
She had
Okay.
She had an office upstairs at my offices when it first started.
Yeah, right. So. Okay. And where are you based? In Crowborough?
No. We're based in Hailsham.
Right. Okay.
Which is just north of Eastbourne.
Okay. And the Titanium Circle thing wasn't there at the beginning, was it? It's something she introduced as the years went by. I think probably only about 3 or 4 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And she's got so many businesses on board right now with that. And but I don't really need to ask you why it's important for you to do that, because you've just explained that, and it's an amazing thing that she does. So let's talk a bit about what you do, Matt. Let's talk about your business and maybe a bit about your background of what you led to where you are now, if that's okay.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So I was after university, I was sort of thinking, what am I going to do? And actually, one of the people I played cricket with at the time on a Sunday was a financial advisor.
Right.
And as I got to the end of my course, I said, well, have you got any jobs? And he sort of said, yeah, come along and have a chat. And did some psychometric tests and all sorts. And then, anyway, cut long story short, I ended up becoming a financial planner at the age of 22.
Wow. Okay.
Straight after university, really. So it's all I've done.
Right.
But I worked as an IFA for a long time and set up Crown Wealth Consultants at the beginning of 2009.
Okay. Right.
From scratch as a new financial services business, a new financial service advice company. We now look after around 2,000 households.
Right.
With around 600 million of funds.
Wow.
And there are 8 advisors that work within the business, including me, and around another 18 staff and various. So it's grown organically throughout that time into quite a big business.
Yeah.
So yes, that's now me for life.
Okay, that's the way it is. I read your website this morning, and it said that your team members call you the captain.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, their choice, not mine.
Right. It's nice though. It's a nice thing to be referred to, I guess.
It's not Captain Birdseye.
It's a captain of some sort of ship. A very important ship. Now, we were discussing earlier about topics within your industry, and there's been a lot of changes with budgetary things, which impacts inheritance tax and those sort of things. Give us some ideas of what's really popular right now and how you really help people.
Yeah, when I help people in all sorts of ways, we try and keep I run what I kind of call a cuddly type of practice, in the sense that once clients come to us, they don't really go anywhere. They really feel sort of enveloped by everything we do. We
Yes.
try and make sure we look after every single aspect and are there for really conversations outside of financial planning, which are more generic, which are decisions they're making about all sorts of things. But in terms of just financial planning aspects, I mean, I suppose the key things that have been changing in the last few years, the big one on people's lips at the moment is pensions.
Yeah, right.
So pensions used to be a brilliant asset. They were outside of your estate. They couldn't be taxed for inheritance tax, and they could be passed down generations. But the government in the last budget before last decided that they wanted to bring those into the tax regime for inheritance tax.
All right.
So people had been, a lot of clients have been sort of not really utilising their pensions so much because they felt that that was an asset they could pass down to their children.
Okay.
But from April next year, April 2027, these pensions will be subject to inheritance tax.
Right.
So if your estate is over the inheritance tax threshold, and for most people living in the southeast it is,
Yeah.
then that's another asset that's going to be taxed.
And what's the threshold again? 6.
So it's 325,000 per person.
Right. Okay.
So for a married couple, that's 650,000.
Yeah.
And then if your estate is under 2 million, generally you can have some relief for your main property, which passes down to your children.
Okay.
Of no 175,000 each.
Right.
But
Yes,
you
it
lose that relief.
Yeah, it
over
affects
to
so many people then, doesn't it? Yeah.
Well, for some clients, they may only have a property worth $500,000, but they have a reasonable pension fund, another 600,000, something like that, which maybe that's enough to give them 30,000 a year in retirement. Suddenly, that 600,000 is taking them way over the limit.
Yeah.
And what wasn't taxed is going to be, and they're looking at ways to mitigate that and do something about
I'd
it.
love to know how you do that.
Well, there are a way. I mean, so there's all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
One of those is taking money out and giving it away to your children, paying the tax now, because your children would, if they receive the pension after the inheritance tax, would then also have to pay income tax on it.
You're double taxed, yeah.
So it's double tax. So it's one of the ways in which we've been looking at is, well, do you take some money out of the pension and give it away regularly, which is straight out of their estate for inheritance tax, or some clients have been buying life insurance with it and putting that in trust to their children.
Right, okay.
So creating a fund on their death, which will then go towards paying off inheritance tax.
Yeah.
So leveraging their pension.
Okay. How do you learn all this stuff? I mean, how do you educate yourself with it? I mean, it's really important, of course, but how do you do it?
Well, there's the industry ways, which are and the base level of being a financial advisor is to become a diploma qualified financial advisor.
Okay.
So there's a number of exams for that, and with the Chartered Insurance Institute. Beyond that, you can become a chartered financial planner, which is a further series of advanced exams, and you can specialise in different areas with those. And beyond that, if you want to, which I am, you can become a fellow of the Chartered Insurance Institute by doing more exams. So it's all
it's learning. Yeah,
it's learning and exams. But there is a strong emphasis in financial services on continuing professional development, and I have to do 50 odd hours of continuing CPD professional development every year.
Right.
But the reality is, it's when you look after a lot of relatively high net worth or clients that have those sorts of needs, you simply have to stay abreast of it, simply because they're talking to you all the time about it.
Yeah.
The first question is, what does this budget mean for me? What will happen in the next budget, which obviously we can't tell them, but what does this budget mean for me? What could it mean? And that's really it's kind of like on the
I guess as soon as they ask you that question, and if it's something you're unsure about, you're going to do your damnedest to find out what the answer is, isn't it? And that's how you learn, because you're continuously answering the questions.
Yeah, I mean, budget day is the big, probably one of the highlights of the year from a planning perspective, because the reality is that it always brings change.
Okay.
And change for us is change. It doesn't necessarily, so for some clients it's good, for some it's bad, but the reality is we have to react to it and adapt. The advice that we're giving them and their financial planning to meet that.
Yeah. And working with businesses as well. I mean, it's just not only individuals, because I suppose most of those high net worth people have got businesses.
Yes.
And that, how the pension relief and stuff like that taken out of businesses, there's probably lots of different things that you can use to reduce your tax bill.
Absolutely. We do a lot of work with businesses, and a lot of protection around businesses and making sure that there's no, the other thing that's changed a lot in the budgets is that over the years is that what used to be a relief where a business could virtually pass down to the next generation without tax is now being restricted to £1 million.
Is it?
And per business individual of share the respective shareholders. But that £1 million, this is what the farmers were up in arms about, was
yes, of course,
where they were driving tractors up Downing Street, were trying to anyway, because the farms are potentially have to be broken up in order to pass down next generations. So that relief has actually been now lifted to 2.5 million, will be lifted to £2.5 million per person. So it's been an interesting space, because the government seem to be floating all sorts of ideas and making all sorts of policy and then putting it in place, and then if it's too painful, retracting and doing a lot of signposting before the next budget. And that led to a huge amount of swell of work for us, because people were sort of saying, they're talking about doing this, they're talking about doing this, they're talking about doing this. What does this mean for me? In reality, they didn't really do any of it.
Yeah, right. They're just testing the water, I guess, to see what the reaction is, see if people go crazy about it.
All the time.
Yeah. Well, I guess it makes you more prepared for it if it does happen, because you're going to go and research it and those sort of things.
Yeah, and the shame of it, some clients will push and insist on a piece of planning because something that might happen, which is always tricky, because invariably it never does happen.
Yeah, right. All part of the job.
Yeah, so sometimes you're telling people not to do something, but they become very insistent to do something. It's a struggle, but it's...
Yeah. So is there anything sort of specific that you help people with? I mean, something that you really, really specialise in, or is it across the board with all the things you mentioned?
Yeah, so there's 8 advisors in the practice. My specialism is very much inheritance tax.
Right, okay.
Trust structures.
Right.
And helping people with bigger pension funds and looking after larger invested assets. But inheritance tax is the bit I love.
Yeah.
Inheritance tax mitigation,
that's what you get your teeth
enjoy
into.
that, and have done for a long time.
And that sort of helps. Do you have it where, so your family, I mean, you've been in business for 30 years doing what you do. You then start helping the children, and so it's right from the ground up with all the families.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of our key messages as a practice, we deliver intergenerational planning.
Yeah.
And so very many of our clients, I look after the parents or the grandparents, and one of my advisors, younger advisor, looks after, say for example, their children.
Right.
So we've got that covered in the sense that we know where what their future inheritance position looks like, and we know if money's being gifted over, that the parents have got the surety that's been invested wisely by their children.
Yeah.
So it's very much an intergenerational relationship.
Yeah.
For the practice, it's important to us to make sure we know the whole family.
And does it work better when you've got a younger person of your practice working with a younger person rather than you working? Is it because they talk the trendy talk, and do you know what I mean?
I think so. They talk the language. They understand. If it weren't for that, I think a lot of younger clients would be getting their advice offline or online or social media or TikTok or wherever it might be. But the good thing about having, I've got advisors ranging from sort of mid 20s up to late 50s.
Yeah.
And by broadly getting them aligned with the people they're similar ish age, it makes a lot of sense. They just talk the same language.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because you've got to trust someone and believe someone and warm to them if they're going to advise you in those really important matters.
Yeah. And also it means that the relationships that they set up then become long term. They can carry them through all the way to their retirement or beyond sometimes.
Yeah. I went to an event at the East Sussex National, is what we're trying to think of, and you were doing a talk with another gentleman or 2 other gentlemen in your field, and there was a big audience.
Yes.
And I stood and watched you and I listened to you, and it was really, really interesting. Who were the other guys you were with?
So it would have been around pension. So George, my advisor, was there.
Yes, yeah.
One of the advisors, Rachel, I think, another one of my advisors.
Yeah, right.
And a guy called Ian Price, who was he's one of the sort of preeminent pension experts in the country.
Yeah, that was him. I was trying to remember him, because I remember when I watched it was just you and him talking about pensions, and it was actually very interesting.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of that sort of thing?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
We try and bring our clients together on themes as often as we can. And some of those, the purpose of some of that is that intergenerational piece where we're asking, look, come along, bring along your children, because this is all about wealth transfer. There's a huge wealth transfer going to unfold in this country in the next 15, 20 years.
Yes, you touched on that.
Simple as that.
I remember that. Yeah.
The reality is there's those sort of baby boomer generation holds vast sway of wealth in the UK, and that will pass to intergenerationally over the coming sort of 15 years.
And that's really important. That's done in the right way, isn't it?
Yeah, otherwise there's going to be a lot of tax paid.
Yes, yes. Let's just go back to Tailor Made Dreams. We're in the, I think Susie said this is the counselling room that we're in. And it's a lovely room because if you can see behind Matt, you can see all the toys and stuff like that.
Room, isn't it?
Yeah, they've just moved to these offices, I think, in December, which is really, it's really in the countryside. It's lovely. If you were to advise anyone to get involved in Tailor Made Dreams and be a Titanium member, what would you say?
I think there's a huge level of engagement with it. So sometimes, businesses, you get tapped up or requested for charity constantly.
Of course you do, yeah.
It's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's about looking at something that sets that charity apart for their relationship with you as a business. It's very easy in this country to give money to charity as a business to tick a corporate responsibility box.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think it's far harder to engage with a charity properly and see the benefit of your work. And what I think the difference with Tailor Made Dreams is they're very good at both recognising the contribution as a business you're making, but also giving the opportunity to engage with other stakeholders and other businesses that are actively giving, which is great from a networking perspective. But I just think they just work that space much better than most charities.
Yeah, it's like you say, it's not just businesses giving them money, which is obviously really important. They really need it. It's also volunteers as well, which they really need. But that's really critical. And putting on events that they do, like you said. Did you go to the ball?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. It was such a great evening, wasn't it?
It was a great evening, and really well done. And I took clients to it.
Did you?
Who then become very interested in the charity as well.
Yeah.
It's I think they're really ticking the right boxes as a charity.
And like you say, the networking events, and then and that sort of leads on to yourself and me and other business owners chatting and learning from each other and maybe doing a bit of business and
absolutely.
So it's not just giving that money; it's they give back, don't they? Which is,
absolutely. It's a good way. It's the right blend as well, because as a business that the reality is as a business, I think unless you're connected to a charity in some way, you won't just keep blindly giving money to a charity unless there's a real engagement. But if there's real engagement, then the reality is that giving will continue and probably grow. Over time, which is, I think, where Tailor Made Dreams have got it right.
It makes you want to give more, doesn't it, with that? Thanks, Matt. Thank you very much for coming. It's been lovely talking to you. I've been meaning to talk to you for ages, and this is a really good opportunity for us to do that. Just briefly, a bit about your business again. What's going on for the future? Are you going to continue doing what you're doing? Are you close to retirement? What are you going to do?
I'm 52 next week.
Yes.
In the next week. So I've got a bit of life left in me yet. But the business is growing to a scale where it's bigger than me, certainly. And there's already people earmarked that are taking it over in the longer term.
Nice. Yeah.
So the business is there for the very much the long term. Will continue to grow.
Good.
For me, I don't know. I'm looking at. I'm probably looking for a time when I can spend a bit more time actually just on charity and stuff like that.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to. I'm involved in another charity as well. That I'm going to Malawi to do a school build project.
Wow.
Have been a couple of times before.
Oh, okay.
In May, and so I'm heading towards that space where hopefully I've got.
You can slow down a bit and do other stuff.
Stuff that kind of warms the soul a bit. Money's great, but it's I'm only really interested in what it can do for people, not necessarily just how much is in the bank.
Yeah, good for you. Thanks, Matt. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for Tailor Made Dreams. And we'll see you all for another podcast soon. Thank you.
Super.
Cheers.
Thanks very much.